All right. So broadly, we've got this part now. Broadly, an HTML document is broken down into two main areas: the head and the body. We're going to do the body in the next slide. We're going to do the head in here, and the head contains all of the elements that you don't really see in the actual browser. Like the user doesn't actually see them, but it gives information to the browser about the page. Sometimes this is just the title of the page. Sometimes it's to let it know how to handle it. If it's if it's responsive, meaning it squashes and stretches. It's just extra stuff that you would put in there that isn't necessarily seen by the user. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the head in here. So after the opening HTML, everything's going to fit inside of the HTML. We're going to go ahead and we are going to do the head. I'm just going to back this up, and then I'm just going to do head like that. Boom. And you'll see it automatically creates the closing for me. And then I'll hit enter, and now I'm in between. All right, so now that's the head. Now everything that's part of the head goes in between these two. And now we're just going to put in the different head elements, okay? So the first thing is I'm just going to make the title of our web page. So I'm going to go like this, title, close, and then you'll see that it automatically wrote the closing one for me, which is good. If yours doesn't close, that means that you mistyped it or something, okay? So try again. And we're just going to call this biography of Cone. Yay, so that's my title. All right, next, we're going to do just a couple of metas. Now, later on, we're going to add more to our heads, but for right now, we're just going to do really basic ones. So I'm going to do a meta tag. So it's just meta, and then it's going to be car set, and then equals quotes, and in the quotes, we're going to write UTF-8. Then after that, I'm going to do a space, / and then the other end of the greater than less than symbol. Now this is what we call an open element, okay? Because it doesn't have an opening tag and closing tag, it just has one. Because it's not wrapping information, it is the information itself, okay? So like I'm saying what's in between this title here, what's in between those, this is the information. In this case, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to make a meta tag, and meta just means that it's extra information, and all I'm doing is saying the character set that I'm typing with, the way that the words that I'm using are UTF-8, okay? All right, we're going to add one more of these metas just for fun. I know I'm having fun. I'm sure you are. So we're going to do meta name equals quotes, and we're going to say description, okay? And then we're going to do content equals quotes a narrative about Cone, and then again space / this, okay? Now notice that when I click on this opening tag, notice how it highlights this closing tag. Notice when I click on this, see how it highlights that, and when I click on this, it's showing this. Make sure that you're getting that, because that means that it's like closed, okay? So here, this tag, what we did is that the meta allows you to just make your own stuff. So I like made my own variable, and I just said, okay, I'm going to make a thing called name, I'm going to make a thing called description, and that description, inside of it, I'm going to put in a narrative about Cone. Now, there's certain ones in here that you'll find if you look them up on the internet, that there's different things you can give information about. This is just one of them, all right? And that is all we're going to put in the head. Notice another thing. Notice that I have the head here, but that these are tabbed in, okay? They don't actually need to be. They could all be up against the left. But it's much easier to understand and read if they're actually tabbed in, because that way I get the idea that these three elements are nested inside of this one, okay? You might have noticed that when we first wrote head, it actually wanted us to tab that in too. So it is possible to do this, to tab all of that in so that you can see that head is inside of HTML. I just don't do that because otherwise you start getting over to the right a lot and it starts going off the page and it gets more difficult. So the head and the body I usually don't bother to tab in, but everything else should be, okay? Yeah, so that's that. So our head is good. Next we'll do our body.